I think there's nothing more peaceful for me or something more fruitful for me or something rather more fulfilling for me than, embarking on this journey. I can tell you for sure I sleep well at night.
Hello and welcome to the Success with Savita podcast, where we share hot tips on how to do life and business without losing your mind. I'm your host, Savita Nanjappa, entrepreneur, high achieving 9 to 5er turned transformational success coach, helping you create a wildly successful business. Come hang out with me and other fabulous humans like you every week for stories and chats packed with a healthy dose of tips, resources, how-tos, and real talk. Side effects may include a happier and more confident you with each passing day. Welcome to the Success with Savita podcast. For the first time today, we're bringing on a pet care brand, Wiggles, and I'm talking to the founder, Anushka Iyer, about building the brand from the ground up. But you know what was also interesting during our interview was the reason behind the brand's name Wiggles, which is actually Anushka's little dog. Wiggles showed up during our interview, and I think it's been the sweetest interview I've ever done with an animal in tow. Being an animal lover myself, it has been an absolute joy to talk to Anushka Iyer about how Wiggles, the brand, is making the world a better place for animals. Wiggles is an award-winning D2C pet care brand focused on the preventative healthcare space for animals, and they have a range of products and veterinary services curated by vets for pets. Anushka herself has featured in the Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia class of 2021 and has been named as one of Silicon Asia's 30 best business leaders. Anushka established Wiggles.in as a D2C pet care brand in December 2018, and since then has gone on not just to raise funding, but also to build a tribe of pet parents on a Facebook group with over 40,000 members in it. And inside the group is Anushka's team, which involves in-house vets, trainers, groomers, nutritionists who help assist pet parents with their queries and keep sharing informative content through blogs, infographics, and live sessions. Join me as I talk to Anushka and Wiggles about building the brand with an outside-in approach and a customer-first approach, where the customer is the pet and not just the pet parent alone. It's an interesting conversation. Hi, Anushka. Welcome to the Success with Savita podcast. Before we get started, I do want to take some time to thank you for making the time to be here on the show today.
Lovely to be here, Savita. I've been watching a lot of your content in the past, and I think you're doing a fab job. So super glad to be here and share my journey.
Oh, you made my day. So with that, I just want to start off by talking about Wiggles. What made you start Wiggles? What brings you? What's been your journey so far? Tell us your story.
I think, let me show you someone and then we start off the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
he is a cute.
I think this is the right way to do it, honestly. So this is Wiggles, and his name is Wiggles, and he came into my life 3.5, almost 4 years back. And so he's grown with the company and he's the inspiration behind the brand. So this Wiggles inspired me to create the brand Wiggles. And everything we do keeping these little children in mind. And if you see, I think you can see in my background as well, my little dog. So you see Wiggles right in the center. Then you have Buddy, my Labrador, and Rico, my German Shepherd. All of them have been abandoned, have been a breeder discard in the past. And they came into my life and it just happened so magically. And now I have more. I'm out of space now to keep more. I have 3 more dogs now, but I think it's just been an incredible journey. And when I look at them, and I think it's just been something that I've done and I've built very consciously with the intention to be absolutely sustainable to whatever extent possible. I think there's nothing more peaceful for me or something more fruitful for me or something rather more fulfilling for me than, embarking on this journey. I can tell you for sure I sleep well at night.
I'm sure all pet owners usually sleep well till their dog starts barking. My little fellow, my not so little fellow, is not in the room today because he tends to bark at crows, all kinds of noises from outside. So he's banned from podcast interviews. However, I'm a huge dog lover and it was lovely to see Mr. Wiggles. But tell me, even though you had Wiggles come into your life and that was why you started, did you think about this decision a couple of times?
So, honestly, Savita, it came very naturally to me. I've always been an ardent animal lover. And when I say animal lover, I don't say pets because for me, all animals are alike. So, be it a bear, be it a snake, be it a dog, be it a cat, be it whatever it is, be it a squirrel for that matter of fact, I mean, I share the same love or the same connection. And for me, it's always been about, if I see an animal in distress, I try and go and do the least I can as a human. It's basic humanity that we all should, sort of understand and live in. So it was very natural for me. But in all honesty, this was just something I was doing on the side. The intention was never for it to become a full blown business. And so when we started Wiggles and when this idea came to us, it started because, we realized that the market is super fragmented, two, B2B focused. And if you ask me, in all honesty, I think this market has been created this way because the demand for the products or services in the market is derived by, B2B players in the market, not the end consumer, which is the pet, right? Because the pet cannot, and so they depend on their humans or their pet parents to speak. But unfortunately, it has never, come down that way. It was a tough journey. In fact, a lot of things we did was, taking the road less traveled, and we had to carve out our niche from the start. And when we started about 4 years back, this place was pretty empty in that sense. A lot of products were being imported. You would see only two or three big brands in the market when I used to do my visits to the pet shop or to the veterinarian, etc. So it was a brand new space at that point in time. Very, very little disruption, very little thought. It was very old fashioned, in all honesty. And at that point in time, it was more about us having a fiduciary responsibility towards animals, our love for animals, plus the desire to do something good, a greater good. And look, I'm very clear with Wiggles. I want to build a legacy. I just don't want to create a startup and then move on and figure it out. This is something I'm very proud of, something I truly love, and something I'm very passionate about. So when you marry business, passion, and the greater good for everything else, I think what you create is magic. And I think there's nothing more beautiful. And I'm really blessed to be on this journey more than anything else.
Awesome. I think what you truly talk about is how when we always ask, what's your why and what's your purpose? And that's very, very clear for you. And it comes across when you're sharing it as well. But having started Wiggles, like you said, at that time, there weren't many players. I'm sure you had a lot of challenges. What has been like one or two big challenges that you can think about from at the time that you started?
So like I told you, one big challenge when we started off was, the lack of products in the market that were actually needed by pets. Everything, like I said, it's a very niche segment. It was very, very small at that point in time. So everything that was done as per, let's say, one of the retailers' demand or the distributors' demand, or very, very, very B2B focused, right? A lot of products or a lot of services that pets would need were never really thought of because, it was considered not very important. But the more I delved into this, I realized that there's a huge potential out here. The point is just keeping to your ears to the ground and listening to what your consumers have to say. And I think the answers just fall into place. And that's been our mantra at Wiggles from day one. That said, my second biggest challenge, and something I face till date, in fact, is lack of awareness and education in this space. And when I say lack of awareness and education, I talk about pet parents only having half information. There's a lot of information dissemination happening. I don't know why it happens. I think if you are a pet care brand, it is your responsibility to actually impart the right kind of information or the right kind of details about your product, how to use the product, why is this product needed in the first place, is this an essential, is this a must have, is this a good to have, and what it does for your pet. But somehow that is sort of broken. For example, it's very easy to make a packet of dog food. You need someone to formulate it, or you do it as a third party, whatever it is, your choice. But it's very sad that not many brands actually say, hey, how do you transition your dog into this food, because your dog is already on a particular range of food, right? And animals are creatures of habit. So while you and I may like different cuisines day, night, in the evening, for dinner, etc., our dogs don't, and nor do our cats, right? They are used to a certain food, and they need to be on that food. And if you decide to change their food, you need to follow a certain transition process, which could be a 4-day one, which could be 25-75%, and then you shift gradually to see if everything's going fine. If you rapidly just change the food, it's going to hurt them end of the day, right? And it's going to cause a lot of issues down their digestive system. So stuff like this, I think, it's more responsibility more than anything else. But I realized. So I'll tell you one more piece of what Wiggles came to be. So at the core of all we do lies education, and we realized very early on that if you see the pet community in India, it's pretty closely knit. When you do something good, it snowballs. When you do something bad, that cascades over too, right? And all pet parents come together. Why do they come together? They come together because they have the same set of questions, concerns about their pet, but they don't have any other place they can go to. They can go to a veterinarian for a full-fledged checkup, but they can't call up the veterinarian and say, "Hey, can I give my dog rotis?" So there is a gap out there. So what these pet parents used to do is they used to go up on Facebook. This has been something going on for I think, the last 6-7 years. They go on Facebook, they post their queries in these different communities, hoping that they would get the right answer, and they follow this advice. Now, what I realized in this process, because I've been part of these groups as an animal rescuer, is I think two people tend to respond to these queries. The first person who tends to respond to these queries are fellow pet parents who are either second time pet parents or they've experienced something on the lines before and they share their advice, which not always be technically right. I mean, there could have been errors there, right? The second, and unfortunately this is very prevalent, are people who are trying to make a quick buck. Could be a breeder, could be anyone at all, right? Someone who is not technically savvy per se to answer a question when it comes to the pet's health or certain things, that a medication or a prescription, right? And this is where things tend to go awry when it comes to pet care. There was no one answering, and that's when I sat down and I said, hey, I have a team of experts sitting down right here in my office. I have nutritionists, I have food technologists, I have veterinarians, and the best in the country. I have trainers, behaviorists, you name it, and I have the team here because that's the team behind the works, building our product portfolio, our service portfolio, etc. I said the least I can do as a pet care brand in this space is connect them pro bono and help them answer questions 24/7. What we ended up creating very early on with Wiggles, I think the first year of Wiggles, we created a community called Wiggles Tribe. And this community we started off on WhatsApp. And we said we'll add our existing customers. And we just added our experts. We introduced them. We said, hey, these are the guys you can address all your questions to. You will get a proper answer, a proper technical answer. And you can ask them 24/7. They're always available for you. And we're all here for you every step of the way. We started with WhatsApp groups. We started with 2 WhatsApp groups. We didn't realize when it became 6. And at one point we said, hey, we're a very small company. We can't handle so many WhatsApp groups. And this is also the time when, COVID had hit and all of those things came into play. So a lot of pet parents went online because they didn't have anything offline either. So we, at that point in time, transitioned into a Facebook group, which does not have a limit, etc. And today we have about 40,000 people on that group. It's a completely organic group. We answer more than 500 queries a day. All of our experts are out there, yes. And we have people from every part of the city, every part of the country and the globe. And I think there is nothing more beautiful than that. And like I said, the initial part of this call, I can sleep peacefully at night and so can my team because we know that we are here for pets. And come what may, we will be there for them, rest assured. It's not just a momentary thing at all. So that has worked very well for us. And like I said, for us, the goal was very clear: serve, don't sell. So the more you serve, the more you are there for the community, the more you add value to this ecosystem, I think the better you do as a.
You are totally speaking about the ethos of how social media and organic growth happens. And I think this is a classic case where you build that community. Now you have a platform, you have 40,000 people, and that's a massive number of pet parents to have over there, right? And I think, so kudos, I think that's a great approach. So you build the community first. And from there, because you give value, it then gets converted because you're a trusted resource and therefore people now buy from you. So I think great approach to marketing. Actually, that was going to be my next question. What is your approach to marketing? I think it's a great approach to marketing. And did this help you really spread the word? And then did you have to do any other efforts, which is not organic marketing, but more like paid marketing? Did you also have to do that to get your early products moving, your first 1,000 customers?
Not really. So, initially, I thought before I got into Wiggles, I said, maybe I need to invest into performance marketing, a little bit of paid campaigns. But then I realized, and it's very funny, when this group happened and this community sort of started building up on itself, I realized that I'm spending zero marketing dollars, number one. Second, I realized that again, the goodwill is coming through. Third, I realized, like I told you, the pet community is very, very, very close, right? When we started doing good, I noticed people putting up messages on other groups and other people saying, "Hey, you must join this community. These guys are here to help." And what this got us, through was the fact that people started reaching out to us anyway, saying, "Hey, I have all of these questions. Do you have any product to, cater to this? Or do you have any service to cater to this?" So for me, if you ask me as a company, I still have a one member marketing team, in all honesty. I focused more on building my brand presence rather than marketing. Focused on being a responsible brand, a brand that is there by pet parents. We're not just fair weather friends. We're here for the good times, bad times, whatever times you need us to, right by your side. So we call ourselves partners in pethood. And because of this, we focus so much on our quality of products, on the quality of services, and defining the customer experience, be it a B2C customer or a B2B customer. I think marketing has never stood in the way, in all honesty. And I think that is the beauty of this model, right? If you are able to give the right kind of information to your audience, I think you're good. You're just good.
Okay, awesome. And this, like my business coaching brain is on, and I'm breaking down your marketing because this is the segment that we call from the ground up, and we are actually breaking down how Wiggles is being built literally from the ground up and become the brand that it has. So what I'm hearing you say is you have your target market sitting with you, literally, you have this community, and now you are not creating the product first and trying to see if it fits the market. You're actually getting feedback. So you are creating the product basis what consumers are asking you.
The approach is an outside in approach. And let me tell you, Savita, so the way we do this is, in fact, if we have to, so I consider this Wiggles tribe as my sounding board. So whenever, I want to develop a new product, I actually go spend some time on the community and you get like a dozen of ideas. So like I said, just keep your ears to the ground and listen to what your consumers have to say. Something very interesting we did is we launched this product recently. It's called Every Dog, and it's dog food, high in nutrients, high in superfoods, but it's for every dog, and hence the name, right? So what we did is we launched a little Wiggles Taste Masters Club. All right. It was a very simple pilot. We didn't do anything big. We said, "Hey, this is our community. You guys have been with us for such a long time. You know what we are all about. We want to launch this, dog food in the market. And this is the name we have. If you sign up, we will send you free packets. You just give us feedback. And your dog becomes our Wiggles Taste Master. And your cat also becomes our Wiggles Taste Master." I kid you not, I think less than 5 or 6 hours. I think my team is better, to tell me this, but they came in rushing to me and they said, "We've got more than 500 registrations in about 5, 6 hours of just putting a post on Facebook." And I said, "What? I didn't expect that happening. I thought there'll be 200, 300 odd people and it'll take us about 24 hours, 48 hours. They're saying the applications are just rushing in and we are having to shortlist people off." So what we actually did with this is there are people of our community. We send them, a little packet along with a little note as to how to transition their dog food, all the knowledge that they should have, what are the ingredients. Intention is to be absolutely transparent and honest. And we started getting feedback. When we got the feedback, we realized, a lot of things came into picture. For example, whether the packaging was nice, whether the name resonated with them, whether the price point was interesting to them, or whether the dog liked the food, which is the most important part of it. And I'm very happy to report we got a 97% palatability rate. That means every dog is literally eating it. And I think there is no better win than this, in all honesty. So the marketing strategy, like you said, I mean, it's like I said, it's been a very outside in approach. Never wanted to follow what's already going on in any space. Wanted to carve my own niche. Wanted to figure out what works for pet parents and deliver that to them in as many ways as possible. Be it a product, be it a service, be it whatever it is. End of the day, it's the pet parent who should see value in the product, and the pet should actually, reap the benefits.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. Stay tuned as we take a quick break, and we'll see you on the other side of the show. Anushka, I'm loving how this is playing out, and I'm just thinking you're going to be the envy of every product manager, right? And I have this case study which says, listen, you have people, you don't have to go find people from your target audience to now do product market fit and do the research. You have it all there. So I think this is I think you unconsciously kind of started this, and it's now become such a valuable resource. So you give to the tribe, but they also give back to you because you're able to, really create customer requested and wanted required products and not creating stuff which is then going into waste. So great. Great story so far. Now tell me, what has been your biggest lesson, business lesson so far?
I think business lesson has been, in all honesty, it's been pivot when needed. Focus on what your end consumer wants. Cut out the middlemen at all possibilities. Focus on delivering the best customer experience, what may at all. So right from, them, like I said, serve, don't sell. I think it's very, very important in the pet space. When a consumer goes to a pet shop, they have 100 different options they try on. If I go there and stand and say, pick me, pick me, pick me, it's not going to do any justice, and I'm just going to burn a lot of money, right? So that's never been the approach. Intention has always been to understand what the customer wants and deliver it accordingly. Understand what the pets want. And we have a very simple policy even when it comes to our veterinary services. So we have a beautiful, I just didn't mention this, very, very beautiful dog boarding here in Pune.
Yes, I've seen that. I did go to your website, so I did see that. Okay.
So it's our jewel in the crown, and we're very, very proud of it because we've built it the way it should actually be for pets. It should not just be barren land and just a fence for them. It should be a little fairy tale for them, and that's what we've tried to deliver there. So it's a beautiful 22,000 square feet area. It can host about 100 dogs at any point in time. And we're very soon looking to build a cattery out there as well. So cats can come and stay in a secluded space too. And the way we have built it again is we built a full-fledged ecosystem. So, right from veterinary care, boarding, training, daycare, products, you name it and you have it all there 24/7. And that's the whole USP of Petsville. But yeah, like I said, I mean, Petsville has been something that we're very, very proud of. So when you talk about veterinary services, we have a very simple rule. Our North Star metric is not whether, the customer is coming back to us or retention, all that is secondary. The North Star metric is when our doctor actually sees the patient again, does the dog wag its tail or the cat purr looking at the doctor, or does the dog run away? And this is so, so, so important. And people thought I was crazy when I told them this, even my team, because it's not usually you go after a quantitative figure or a number or whatever it is, but if you don't have your end consumer happy looking at you, there's no point. And I don't want to operate from a place of fear at all. So my doctors, and I'm very proud to say this, I've got the best guys on the board, but my doctors actually spend about 10 minutes just hugging the pet, sitting down with them, calming them down, and then they are absolutely malleable with you, and they love actually spending time with you. So we've actually had people, pet parents, and again, this has been a fab journey, but we've had pet parents who have written us a poetry on behalf of their dog. We've had pet parents who actually ensure that their dog wags their tail and says barks every morning before we leave. It's just been a beautiful journey, and the goodwill has really made a difference for us, I think. Yeah.
So I hear you. Your business lesson: serve, don't sell. No pick me energy. Better to add value and focus on customer experience. And here, even if the customer is not human, you focus on that experience. So your dog is actually, thrilled to see the doctor. But also tell me, when are you coming to Bangalore? I have a pet I need to board sometimes. So I'm waiting for that for sure. And on that note about expansion, right? I do want to ask you, in the larger industry, the pet industry, what do you see? Is there growth? What do you see happening next? Is there some, little crystal ball that you're, or you have some focus that you've been observing?
So, Savita, in all honesty, the last 4 years I've been shouting from the rooftops that this industry is growing at double the rate than we're actually, sharing through our secondary sources, etc. The space is huge. COVID has created an even bigger upsurge in terms of pet care. People are now choosing, especially we are catering to the Gen Z and millennials, right, who want a very delightful customer experience per se. But they're choosing to adopt a pet before they have a child. And, your pet becomes your child. So the experience, gone are the days where pets were just brought home for a socio-economic status symbol, right? Where you had this higher, the better the breed you have, the higher the socioeconomic status you are. Gone are those days. Gone are those days where, and this is how I classify a pet owner and a pet parent, right? So gone are those days where pets were fed leftovers that were just there in the house, dal, roti, whatever, just khila do. No concern about what the pet is going through. Today's age, and I'm very happy to see this change happening. And this is happening with my generation predominantly. People are choosing to adopt a lot of pets. People are choosing to take care of them. A lot of pet parents go above and beyond to learn more about their pets, to see that they can deliver the best to them. There's a lot of information that they are going and actively wanting to hear. A lot of them are already well aware, and that's so good, right? So given this, there's been a huge upsurge, not just in terms of adoptions, but in terms of education, in terms of awareness. The fact that a pet, you bring a pet into your life, it's a totally different thing in terms of science. I mean, of course, your dopamine levels, everything goes on to a high, and I think it's a beautiful thing. By the way, our office is a zoo. Let me tell you that we have we have a dozen of pets. I mean, our employees are allowed to bring their pets here, and there's never a day where there is a negative atmosphere or a sad atmosphere or anything like that at work, because you have your pets around you, and that's reassurance enough. And you have them all running around scot free. Let me tell you that they're not kept in one place, nothing at all. So it's just been a very the whole thing. If you look at it, I think the mindset is changing. There has been a great shift, and this is what is contributing to the space as a whole, right? In terms of expansion, we are already delivering to more than 24,000 plus pin codes. We are available throughout e-commerce with Amazon, Flipkart, and the likes, of course. But we also have an offline presence where we have a full-fledged B2B team that actively caters to veterinarians, to pet shop, to retailers, to general trade, modern trade outlets, etc. So that's already underway. We are almost, I think, in all parts of India at the most. But yeah, so it's been a good ride. But the intention is to also go global at one point in time. And when the time is right, I think we would activate that. But right now, the focus is to deepen our footprint, not just be present in different cities, but deepen our footprint as well. And once we conquer that, I think global domination.
Okay, we are waiting for it. But I have another question for you. While you shared this is the mindset, right? So, it's changed. This whole, like you rightly said, we people are literally adopting before having a child. Now, when it comes to shopping, right, for the pets, are there what do you think are some of the biggest concerns? Like, what I want to ask you here is, when pet parents are shopping for their pets, are they going very, like, there's some treat maybe they'll buy, but are they only shopping like as informed by the vet that you need this medication or you need, or do they go above and beyond? Like, what do you see over here? What's the biggest concern for pet parents when they are shopping? Or it's not enough options, too many options, don't know what to buy? Which of these?
So I think a lot of people, there are too many options in the market, which is a good thing. I think the industry is prospering, and I think there's room for everyone to grow. In all honesty, right? But that said, if you look at the structure today, veterinarians sit on top of the food chain because they bring the expertise into the table, right? So a lot of products that are recommended by veterinarians. However, I also believe that pet parents in today's day and age should be well informed themselves. And so I feel, as a buyer myself, the first thing I do is I look at the label. And when you look at the label, the back of the label, in all honesty, again, not the design of the packaging or anything like that. But when you look at the back of the label, you realize what are the rights, what are the wrongs. And I think this is, like I said, basic awareness that a pet parent should have, which as brands should sort of educate them and make them aware of, and veterinarians, and of course, all the people on the field should. But things like sugar in treat or salt in treats, this is an absolute no-no. And in all honesty, it is still added by many brands. But of course, in moderate quantities, but it is still poison for them, right? When you talk about food, additives, fillers, there are 100 different things that are added to ensure that the sustainability, the shelf life of the product is longer. But you should stay away from it if you genuinely want to do good by your pet. The point is not, feeding them a bag of dye food and thinking you've done your job. The point is ensuring they're healthy, happy. And what we at Wiggles do is not just focus on the healthy, happy part, but also the longevity of their life. I think we all start focusing on how we can, increase their lifespan rather than saying, "Hey, I've done my job for today. I fed my dog today." I think it's like I said, it's just the approach, right? So that shift will happen in due time. It is already happening. I can see that happening in play. So yeah, I see the shift happening quite a lot. I think there's room for much more, of course, but I think It's like I said, it's on us as companies to act on this and cater to what we promise. End of the day, right? Because pet parents have no reason to trust any brand out there. It's about how you build that trust for them. That's very, very important.
Yeah, I think when you were saying, I'm just thinking about my own buying habit, and I'm like, the vet says buy this, do that, try this, then I do. Then I do some reading from somebody, and then they'll be like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I should try this. So, yeah, I think the approach is changing, but a little more focus, a little more planning can really like kind of enable your pet. And I think you hit the nail on the head. We all want our pets to live forever.
I hope my pets outlive me, in all honesty.
Yeah. All right. With that, I have my next question for you, which is tell me, did you at any time think about giving up?
No, yeah. In all honesty, again, absolutely not. That was never.
The journey so far has been great. So it's not been.
I mean, there have been ups and downs. No denying that. There have been days where, it's been a fantastic experience. There have been days where I've said, oh my God, I mean, I didn't see this coming in this space. When I got into this space, I thought, I'm getting into the pet care space, the pet industry. I'm sure they'll be the most compassionate people out here. But then, eventually I realized again, like it's too B2B focused and no one really cares about the end consumer, the pet. And so, for me, it was something that I just realized at that point in time. I thought there'll be everyone who's an animal lover, and they are. I mean, everyone's pet parents, etc. But I think our focus has to be more towards our little pets because they are the ones who can't speak, and I think we need to deliver better to them. But no, I've never had this thing of giving up per se. I think it's I'm on this ride. I'm blessed to be part of this journey. I think Wiggles was meant to happen. A company like this was meant to be built, which focuses on a holistic ecosystem that we're trying to build. It is the need of the hour. So if I had not, someone else would have. My intention is more just to ensure that some quack with millions in the bank does not end up, ruining this pet care space, which is already, very, very nascent and, has lots to do and has lots to do in terms of growth as well.
Yeah. So when you have those days where, it's like, business and entrepreneur's journey is up and down and lots of downs, how do you keep going? Like, what's your mantra? Tell me about you, the person, and how you deal with the highs and lows.
So I talk to my dogs, in all honesty. I talk to my dogs, and the purpose is so strong with what we do at Wiggles, and the answer lies with our animals. A lot of my important decisions, I look at Wiggles right in the eye and I say, "Hey, do you think I should do it?" And he gives me some answer, be it a woof or just be it a little blink, and I know, okay, this is what it is. And if he's not interested, he walks off. He's a dog with an attitude. Let me tell you, he's got a very strong personality. But yeah, I think when the purpose is so meant to be, and the intention is very earnest and heartfelt, I don't think anything else matters. So that's very strong for us, and we know we're on the right path. Look, the intention is not to become just focus on profitability. The intention is to figure out, or at least in the hope, we whatever we do at Wiggles, we do it in the hope that we're able to impact the lives of many, many pets globally, not just in India. And because this desire is so strong, I mean, I'm very happy that I have a bunch of folks who, I mean, as my team, who are ardent animal lovers. They go above and beyond for animals, even beyond their call of duty at many times. But because all of them come here with the hope that some life over there is impacted in the right way and in the right hope, not just a pets sitting at home, but community animals, treaties, anyone and everyone, right? That's how you add value to this ecosystem.
Yeah. Lovely. I can see and I can feel the passion coming through on this call, on this interview. And I want to ask you about, let's bring it to you. What does a day in your life look like?
This is a very interesting question. My day starts with my dogs, ends with my dogs. That's how it absolutely starts, and rightfully so. Starts with a little bit of reading after I've pampered my dogs enough. They demand their attention, let me tell you. And then I'm back at work here, firefighting, part and parcel of an entrepreneur's life. A lot of firefighting that happens. We're a young company, so chaos is normal. Decisions change every day. We move very fast. And that's been, part of our success as well as we grow. But a lot of decisions change, and we have always believed in going against what the market is already doing. We like to, like I said, we like to carve our own niche, right? So a lot of thinking out of the box, a lot of creativity goes into, or a lot of innovations goes into our products, our strategies, our sales strategy, our marketing strategy, or even our product placement strategy. So we go against the norms, we challenge the status quo quite a lot, we tend to push the envelope. So it's usually a busy day with a lot of things, but it's never with Wiggles I've realized we've never had a dull moment in office. There's never been this complete silence or complete quietness where I'm sitting and just looking at my work. It has never been that way. Every day, every moment brings in something new, and that's the most incredible part of it, and I think all of us here thrive on that.
Okay. And while we come towards the end of this interview, I do want to ask you, what's next for Wiggles in terms of what's the future looking like? And also, yeah, okay. And then I do want to ask you your advice for other women who want to start a business. But yeah, let's talk about what's next for Wiggles.
Absolutely. So, one, we want to penetrate deeper into the market. We want to deepen our footprints across India. We want to serve all legs of customers in India, be it regardless of the city, be it metros, tier one, tier two, tier three, wherever you are, we will reach you. But the goal is even bigger than just delivering products. The goal is to ensure that we are able to create a very sustainable, holistic ecosystem in India, where you pick up at home, you think of Wiggles, and Wiggles takes care of everything from the start of, let's say, their puppyhood to all the way to seniority, right? That's the missing link in India. You have multiple aggregators, you have multiple people selling different products, you have multiple people providing services. No one is bringing everything together. So our intention is very clear. We want to grow with the ecosystem, not against it, but at the same time, give back to the ecosystem, help it grow. And so we are also underway right now. We have a very interesting project going on. We call it Project X in the office. But this particular project, we're working on, again, upskilling the existing ecosystem, setting up a chain of clinics across India where we define, the kind of quality, or we create the benchmark of quality that we would want.
Interesting. And I'm definitely looking forward to this journey. Yes, for sure. And I hope you're like bringing Petsville to Bangalore for sure.
We've got a lot of requests, especially in Bangalore, since there is, standardized level of quality and care, and people don't have to go to multiple places if it comes to the health of their dog, etc. We have a couple of very interesting things in Petsville, by the way. We have a very important program called as the Board and Heal program, where you can actually, if your dog is unwell and you're not able to take care of your pet for whatever reason, let's say you have a busy schedule, you're working, you're traveling, you can actually leave your dog with us. And since we have 24/7 care, we actually ensure that they're boarded with us, and we heal them, we treat them, and we send them back to you just in the pink of health.
No, perfect. Okay, waiting for this. And your advice, because you're someone who started this, like Wiggles came into your life and then you started. So obviously, I mean, this wasn't something that you wanted to do when you were a child, or do you think this was you had some direction that you were heading this way at some point?
So, I mean, yeah, I'm a daughter of an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I've seen multiple business getting built, sold. I've literally experienced that journey, right? But like I said, there was this huge passion inside me, or something I was doing on the side was the whole animal piece, where I would do it above and beyond, just because I loved them so much and I had that connection with them, and it just happened very naturally. I owe a lot of this to my uncle. My uncle is a crazier animal lover than me. Let me tell you that. And there are hundreds of different stories, but for another time. He is the General Secretary of Blue Cross of India, which is one of the oldest animal welfare NGOs in India. And he's also, part of FIAPO, the board of FIAPO, which brings all of these NGOs together. So, I've actively seen him, take care of animals, nurse them back to health, lead them back into the wild, and do it very brazenly. And he's much more crazy than me, let me tell you. But I think that has sort of rubbed off on me since childhood. So it became very natural for me that you'd see an animal and this is the least you can do, right? So there was business on one side that I saw in the family, and then there was this other part. And I think I somehow amalgamated the two. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I think it's just been a beautiful journey. And I knew I wanted to do something on the lines of social entrepreneurship, and I think I just got that.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect, like, it's a meeting of, it was destined to be, it was meant to be. And finally, just before I let you go, your advice to women who want to do social entrepreneurship, where they're sometimes worried about profitability, they're worried about whether this will work. What's your advice to them?
I think you need to try and experiment before you say or do anything. Do a small little experiments. Do what you can, but don't sit in your comfort zone. That's not going to get you anywhere at all. Always go out and beyond. Try and do different things. Play around, play a lot. Failure is not a choice. No one wants to fail. But yeah, if sometimes things don't work out, I think you need to pick up the pieces, move on, and dust yourself off. I think there's no point holding back any resentment, anything at all. But all that said and done, the first step is to just get out of your comfort zone and try and learn something new. It's a learning end of the day, and I think that is the most valuable thing that you can have, come what may, right? So just do it. Just get out there. That's it.
Okay, great advice from you, Anushka. Thank you. And it has been a joy speaking to you. We are going to be sharing the links of Wiggles in the show notes, but also, how can people connect with you? Is it on LinkedIn directly? What do you recommend?
Absolutely. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm usually not very, very active on Instagram, in all honesty, but yeah, feel free to hit me up. I'm happy to answer anything at all, or just, pick up the phone and have a chat, or a cup of coffee, always here.
All right, Anushka, thank you so much for your time. And I hope to, and we'll be cheering you on in your journey down the road of Mr. Wiggles and, of course, the company.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you, Savita. But lovely, lovely speaking to you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like this episode and you want more, you can go to the show notes on my website, which is successwithsavita.com/podcast. If you like what you've heard so far, I would be grateful to you if you could leave me a 5-star review, subscribe to this podcast, and share with a friend who may find this useful. You can also follow me on my Instagram at successwithsavita and DM me any questions you may have, and I will be happy to answer them for you. Until the next episode, believe in yourself and all the best to your success.